I'm Mark. I've been at Facebook about 8.5 years, and today we're going to talk about 3 pretty cool new ad products we're introducing. But I just wanted to give some context. One of the things that's interesting if you look at Facebook over the years, and those of you that have worked with us for a while, is we've gone from these tiny little ads on the side of a website, 2x2s, if you remember, and what's the creative potential of that, to what I look at as like paint and canvas. We need to make advertising messaging that is both relevant, which is great, but also rewarding and interesting. And really the things we're talking about today are new ways that we think that interaction and that interest can go. So these are the 3 we're going to be talking about. The first is polling ads in Facebook feed. We've seen polling work so incredibly well across different surfaces, but putting this into feed, we think is going to be extraordinarily powerful to get the scale and interaction into this space. The next thing, this is super fun, are playable ads. These are ads that are actually micro video game-like experiences that we built for our gaming clients that we're now expanding to every vertical and genre. So this thing that marketers for years have pursued, like how do we get the engagement and dynamics of gaming into people's hands? There's now an easier way to do it than ever before. And lastly, we're going to talk about augmented reality ads. This is, so much promise and already so much potential in the space. And we think taking this technology and putting it at this new scale is going to be really, really interesting. And again, the creativity that will unlock the value of all these things is really what we're excited about. Gaming on Facebook is something that is just massive. And if you're not a gamer on Facebook, there are 700 million people a month who are. So 700 million people a month are playing with games. So we know this behavior of playing with games in feed is a huge thing. And we want to capitalize on that. So I think it was about a year ago we started the gaming playables, because it was a natural extension of taking an experience of a game and putting it in people's hands. And Marnie, I love this, they hacked it. They weren't meant to do this, but they hacked it. And they used the same technology to create for handbags, which led to a commerce experience. And we're like, as often, people move faster than businesses, smaller businesses, but generally move faster than big businesses. This is a great example of them taking this behavior and saying, we're going to promote and sell our handbags through this. When we look at things like AR, they start off being super innovative and people are really amazed, but like all technology, it becomes really useful when it scales and we use it in our everyday lives. Just the utility of it becomes something we're like, of course, I'll see if that furniture fits in my room. Of course, I'll see if this makeup fits me. So right now we're in that exciting stage, and the results are really huge.
Danielle, I was thinking about your journey of using stories and all the interactivity that you have already with your audience and your huge following. How did stories change some of the work that you've been doing on the platform these days?
I mean, stories changed everything for me. It allowed me a way to interact with my followers on a way more personal level and to really get their feedback. So when I'm designing product now, I ask my followers, do you want it short or long? Do you want blue or black? I really ask them for their feedback and include them in the design process so that when I release product, they really feel invested in it just as much as I was.
Colleen, are you sharing these opportunities with your creative team to build exciting new ideas using polling or playables or AR solutions? How do you deal with this relationship as a media officer inside Droga 5?
The whole role of the team, and it's the comm strategy team at Droga, is to put media thinking up front in the creative process. So our role is to help translate some of these ad units into creative canvas opportunities. So we work really closely with our teams to help to introduce them and to really understand consumer behavior. I think a lot of these units fall out of consumer behavior, and so if we start with the consumer behavior and then really understand what we can do, it helps. And I think also, advertising used to be set it and forget it. It was sort of like flow charts. That's when everything went out. It's great. But now everything's so dynamic. We're needing to be a lot more nimble, and we're needing different types of production models. One of our brands is a travel one, and right now we're developing some content using polls to better understand if people right now are wanting to travel to within the fall to a beautiful sort of tropic destination or a winter destination. And then we can optimize our content against that. And so it's not just about optimizing against click-through, but optimizing against opinion and what people are telling us and really creating content for our followers.
I assume it's the same with BuzzFeed, right? So I was checking on the poll, I think it was mac and cheese with broccoli and bacon, 100% bacon, of course, right? I imagine it's the same thing with food or the content that you guys
Totally.
develop.
I think people just enjoy being heard, and I think it's really interesting to engage with publishers at a deeper level. For us, especially on the commerce side, so much of our strategy is based on data and signals, And oftentimes the data that we use is what are people buying, what brands do they love, and this essentially opens up a new data set for us to tap into. So I think it's a really interesting way not only to build like a creative strategy, but even a content strategy. If we really see that people love bacon mac and cheese, that could lead to more content that actually utilizes those ingredients, or we can engage with our audience in a different way, knowing what they love. So I think it's a really interesting way for us to get more personal with the audience that's coming to us.